For years, ethanol has been known as a fuel that is mixed with petrol. But what if the same fuel could one day be used for cooking in your kitchen? Sounds really surprising, right? Well, the government is now exploring whether ethanol can become a safe, affordable and cleaner alternative to LPG. No, this doesn't mean that LPG cylinders are being replaced immediately. Instead, experts are studying whether surplus ethanol can be used for cooking in the future. So why is the government considering this idea? Let us understand about it. Firstly, let us shed light on India's ethanol success story. Well, India's ethanol journey began over 2 decades ago with the pilot blending program in 2001. Initially, progress was slow because ethanol production mainly dependent on sugarcane. Things changed after the ethanol blended petrol program and national policy on biofuels. And the government allowed ethanol to be produced from maize, damaged food grains and surplus rice, significantly increasing the production. And today's India's ethanol production capacity has grown from around 4.2 billion litres in 2014 to nearly 20 billion litres in 2026. And the biggest achievement came in 2025 when India reached its 20% ethanol blending, that is E20 target in petrol, that is 5 years ahead of the schedule. But why is the government looking beyond petrol? After achieving the E20 target, India now has surplus ethanol production capacity. Once petrol blending and industrial demand are met, nearly 7 billion litres of ethanol capacity remains available. And at the same time, India still imports a large share of its LPG, making the country vulnerable to global price fluctuations. And instead of letting excess ethanol go unused, the government is examining whether it can serve as a cooking fuel in homes and commercial kitchens. But how will ethanol be used for cooking? Well, the proposal is not to fill ethanol into existing LPG stoves. Instead, specially designed ethanol-based cooking stoves are being developed. And in May 2026, Union Minister Nitin Gadkari unveiled an indigenous ethanol cooking stove that runs on a 7% ethanol water blend. And the government is also working on safety standards, fuel distribution and policy guidelines before taking any final decision. Initially, ethanol cooking is expected to be introduced in hotels, restaurants and institutional kitchens, with household use considered only after successful trials. So what could be the benefits of it? Well, if the project succeeds, it could bring several advantages, as families may benefit from lower cooking fuel cost if ethanol remains cheaper than LPG. And India's dependence on imported LPG and crude oil could reduce, strengthening the country's energy security. And cleaner burning ethanol may also help reduce indoor air pollution, that is compared to the traditional cooking fuels. And most importantly, greater ethanol demand would create another market for farmers, increasing income for sugarcane and grain producers while supporting India's climate goals. So what are the challenges that we can face ahead? Well, however, the idea is still at an early stage. A nationwide ethanol supply chain needs to be developed. Affordable ethanol-compatible stoves must become widely available, and strict safety standards for storage, transport and household use must be finalized. Public awareness and consumer acceptance will also play a major role, and that's why the government is moving cautiously through pilot projects rather than announcing an immediate nationwide rollout. Well, will petrol contain even more ethanol? Notably, the government has already approved higher ethanol blends such as E85 and E100 for flex fuel vehicles and exempted certain higher blends from central excise duty. However, it has clarified that there is no immediate plan to increase ethanol blending in regular petrol beyond E20, and any future decision will be based on scientific studies and technical assessments. So India's ethanol story is entering a new chapter, and after helping reduce crude oil imports through E20 petrol, ethanol may now find a place in Indian kitchens as well. And the goal is to reduce fuel imports, utilize surplus ethanol, support farmers, improve energy security and promote cleaner energy. And for now, ethanol is not replacing LPG, but if ongoing trials prove successful, your future cooking stove may run on a fuel that was once known only for powering vehicles. That's all for now. Stay tuned to the Savera for more updates. Do like, comment and subscribe to the channel.